Good afternoon. Bit of a rainy day here today, quite windy. It's the 15th of November. It's only a week since I did the last video. I've come on today just basically to give you an update on the onions that we've now put onto grow lights. But we'll go in the greenhouse and do that. Before I do, I'm going to quickly show you a bit that's going on outside. I'll just turn this camera around. There we are. I'm down by the second polytunnel. Right, we'll look at the strawberry plants which my grandson took cuttings of, growing away very nicely. Nice, you know, new growth coming out the middle there very nicely. But we see a fair bit of yellowing and some red. Basically that's what happens through the winter. It's the same as the leaves on your trees. They tend to die back and drop off. Unfortunately these ones don't drop off, but we will cut them right down at the base here and just leave these centre growth, which will come away in the spring. This is finished growing for this year. So that's the way the strawberries are looking at the moment. This particular, well, there's two or three here. These are heads which I set when the weather was good. We did it out on this bench. And we just left the heads lying here and they've flushed up for a second time. So they are leek heads. Looking very good, to be truthful. I could probably get another flush of grass off. A few winter pansies. As we can see, strawberries. I'm going to put these up into a lot of these into pots and put them into a polytunnel to get a few earlies, and then the rest will be planted out in the garden. The grandkids love them, we love them. So a few stock plants here on the bench. They're ready to be cleaned up around the base here. This will all be removed. This, if we take notice, I've actually split the centres down. They'd started to grow away nicely, but they were all nipped up and the middle wouldn't come through, so I've cut them open, let the centres, that's the centre growth there popping through, and we'll let those come away. I'll leave those ones outside for the winter. The dogs there quite happy. Just moving down to the bottom trenches. Hello. You're a happy girl, aren't you? She's a lovely friendly dog. Not what the other two are. The turkeys are looking good. Hello. Love. And in here we've got some poultry. That's just the hens there. Right, moving across. This bottom greenhouse is looking good. Nice and green now. And in here, as you can see, these beds, fortunately through a friend that started, and I got a couple done, but Alan in the garden next door, and Alan Stokego and Barry in the garden next door to me, they've given me a hand while I haven't been here so much, and they've wheeled the muck down, put it on all the beds for me. What I'm doing in here now, this one hasn't been watered yet, but you can see the next one and I think the next one, they've been saturated, and I'll do that every week. It'll help to wash the muck down into the trenches. It'll also help to keep the worms active and feeding them. And I'm going to dig 2 in the spring, and I'm going to leave 2 on the top in the spring. We're now tipping a load of muck down the footpaths here. It's lovely, well rotted black manure. That will go into these 2 beds for blanch leeks into the barrels, and I'll keep those in the barrels. Stock plants over there, all looking decent. So I'm going to put you on standby, I hope, and go up into the greenhouse. Right, I'm out of breath a little bit, walking up the bank into the greenhouse in the back garden. As we see, this is actually the sand bed, the heated bed where the cables are running through. Most of the onions have been removed from here and put under grow lights, which we'll go and have a look at. These are a few leeks that I've just potted. If you remember, a week or 2 back, I had a dish with vermiculite in, with a lot of small plants in. This is all of them, all the way along here, and they're starting to stand up nicely. I've just put them on the heat bed to get them growing a little bit. They'll do alright. That's the last tray of onions. And as we can see, this is the heated sand bed. Just barely warm to touch, that's just fine. Right, we'll move down the greenhouse. The leeks are all doing quite nicely, quite happy. Cumbrians, these are the virus free, well pleased with them. If we can get a close up, I've got a light on which is just casting and lifting out and see if we can I've got a, there we are, you can see they're nice and clean, so I'm well pleased, and they are growing away very well, so I'm pleased with those. They're growing a lot quicker than I thought. These are ready to post out to people. A few nice heads there, still to set. And as we move along, we'll move to the T5 light and the onions that I've put under it. And we'll just take a look. This is a T5, it's an 8 tube T5, 4 foot long, and it takes, well, there's 20 trays of these cells under there, and they are doing well, and they stood up beautiful. I love to see them when they're standing bolt upright. I hate it when they're all floppy. These are the individuals. As you can see, there's 60 in a tray, and they also stood up nice. Now then, what I've done with these are on a T5 grow light, and I'm going to give them probably a fortnight on 24 hours. At which point there's a few lads that'll come and collect. These trays, a lot of lads come and collect a full tray of onions like that. I do post plants out, but it would just be single plants out rather than like a few plants rather than full trays. Now then, a little bit of an experiment. I'll show you into my growth cabinet, which is in next door. This is a lot different. In here we have a 600 watt high pressure sodium light, metal halide at that end, a 600 watt sodium light here. I hope the camera's picking it up because it's very bright. And I've got two 350 watt lights in there, again they're metal halide. As you can see, I've filled the cabinet up right through, and this is only on 12 hours a day, these lights. And I've put some onions in here, exactly the same, as we can see. They're exactly the same. These have actually just been put in here today. The lights outside I did on Thursday. So these lights will be on 12 hours, and the 12 hours that they're on will be overnight. It's in an enclosed cabinet, as we can see. It's got fans blowing into that end and fans sucking out at the other end, humidifiers. These are the fans that's sucking out the hot air out to keep the temperature down, because it can get quite hot in here. At the moment that's running at about 66 degrees, which is ideal. Right, so these onions, I've done it as an experiment. These will get 12 hours light of intense light, and again I'll probably keep this in here for maybe a week to a fortnight, and we'll have a look at the difference from next door, the ordinary T5 light, to what these lights are doing. These are beneath the sodium light, so we'll just see the difference. That's it. That's it today, folks. Just a quick one, just to bring you a quick update. Again, we'll look in a week or two, maybe it's a fortnight, because I am helping to sell trees back at the garden centre, and we've just started receiving them today. Thanks a lot.